Recording in progress.
What up? What's good, family? I'm your boy Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Shout out to all of our Facebook Live viewers right now. Y'all can continue to follow the Facebook page, click the like button, and you can also follow us on our YouTube channel, followed with our social media on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. How we living, man? What's going on?
Hey, man, fresh off the Super Bowl. I'm gonna just let you know now, and we'll get into it, I guess, as we get into the game. Nobody seems to be liking the Cooper Cup in my circle, the Cooper Cup MVP. Nobody seems to be liking it.
Okay. I can certainly get into that conversation because we were watching the game together at the crib.
We were all very adamant. I think we all agreed that Cooper Kupp was the MVP, but the argument is Aaron Donald, though.
Aaron Donald is a good argument. Von Miller is a good argument as well. And now that I have to rethink about it, I don't think Matt Stafford should be in that conversation, only because he threw the 2 interceptions. Other than that...
Well, 1 interception wasn't his fault.
That is true. That is true. But I think for certain it's those 3 guys. It's Kupp, Donald, and Von Miller. I think those are your 3 Super Bowl MVP candidates. But for me,
I think he's last on the list. But I mean, come on, he did throw the ball to Cooper Kupp.
Who's that? Who's last
Stafford.
on the list?
Stafford.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Right.
Last over those 3 guys?
No, yeah, last over those three guys. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you there. I'm with you. I'm just for me,
and
it's those
honestly,
three.
I ain't gonna hold you.
What up?
I mean, Vaughn did. I'm gonna have to put Stafford at three, bruh. I'm gonna have to put Stafford at
You're not
three.
feeling the Von Miller thing?
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
have to put Stafford at
No,
three.
I mean that's fine. That's
But
fine.
but 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 we not out. Those two aren't even important to discuss. It's Aaron Donald versus Cooper Kupp is the conversation that's been going on in my world.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. So my reasoning for Cooper Cup is, I mean, when you think about the turning point in this game, it was Odell Beckham going down with the knee injury, or I think they're calling it an ACL tear. From what
Hmm.
I'm hearing now, and that sucks
In
for
the same
him
leg, in the same leg.
in the same leg, and that sucks for him because
It
he's
will.
not gonna be able to start next season. He's most likely gonna come in mid-season. So that shout out to OBJ. But that game changed when he went out, and like I was telling you earlier, in the game, I was looking for an X factor, and I thought that X factor would have been Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson couldn't find a way to get acclimated after Beckham went out. Number 18 for the Rams couldn't find a way to get acclimated. Now we did catch a couple of balls, but
I was going to say he caught a couple clutch
he
ones
he, he,
though.
he caught a couple of balls, but this game needed to be in the hands of Cooper Cup and Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford had to deliver the ball to him in double coverage, and McVay had to scheme up the offense because that third quarter, I mean, for both teams in that third quarter, it was just three and out, punt here, punt there. Nobody was getting anywhere in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter came, and that 4th and 1, I think it was, with the end around with Cooper Cup finding a way to get him to rock
Mm-hmm.
in that situation. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that plays a part in it. It's the fourth down conversion. It's him being double covered and still beating the coverage, and it's the touchdown for me to take the lead. When the game was winding down at the 2-minute mark. We could talk about the penalties, three in a row, in that red zone there. After the whole ref crew decided, hey, we weren't going to throw flags all game for the first 58 minutes. Now I think they threw out one in those 58 minutes, but those last 2 minutes, they said, you know what, we need to throw some flags here. So
All right. Well, let's take a step back.
yeah,
I don't want to go that far
I
into
hear
it.
you.
I guess the overall view, the Goodyear blimp view is the Super Bowl happened over the weekend. Obviously, for those who may have lived under a rock, the Rams beat the Los Angeles Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20. Is that correct?
Yes,
Twenty-three
sir.
twenty.
Yes, sir.
23-20 to win their second Super Bowl in history. Sean McVay becoming the youngest head coach ever to win a Super Bowl, beating Mike Tomlin in 2008, who was the old record holder. Um, Hell of a game, man. I will say that I was I'm not ready to put it up here in top five games ever, but it was an entertaining game for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I think my view of it is I'm glad, even I guess I'm glad that the referees weren't involved as much up until the last seconds of the game.
Yeah.
Now I do think that put a little damper on the game, that all of a sudden they wanted to get involved.
Yeah.
But watching flagless football for what's that, 50, maybe 58 minutes,
Yeah.
it was enjoyable. Was enjoyable. What I'm left with at the end of the game is, man, and this is my saying, and if you've watched this podcast or listened to this podcast enough, my motto: star shine. And this is why you mortgage your future for Jalen Ramsey's and Matthew Stafford's
Yep.
and those high caliber players. You get these high caliber players for this reason,
Hmm.
and in the end, these stars shined. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, not so much in
I was
this
gonna
game,
say
uh,
that's being
but
nice.
but 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 the other stars for certainly in this game, Aaron Donald, Von Miller,
Hmm.
Matthew Stafford did have
Odell
moments
Beckham.
of shine. Yeah, Odell Beckham. Yeah, so my Goodyear blimp view is that it's the stars always shine, man.
Hmm. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Just getting back to the Aaron Donald thing, where in my world there were a lot of people that was trying to clamor for Aaron Donald to get the MVP award. My thing about it is that as much as he sort of wrecked that game in the fourth quarter for the Bengals on the offensive end, 2 sacks, 4.5 tackles. He beat double teams. Still was kind of able to get home on several occasions. The issue for me is that he didn't just dominate this game by himself. Von Miller had a game himself. Obviously, it might not have been as noticeable. He had 2 sacks himself. He had 2.5 tackles. He was disruptive as well. So when I think about Super Bowl MVP, I take the totality of the game and I look for turning points. And I referenced Odell Beckham going down being a major turning point. And who they had to look to. They had to look to Cooper Cup. They had to scheme him. They had to double team him, and he was still getting open. Matt Stafford had to throw some balls
No,
in
he
tight
wasn't getting
coverage.
open. He
And
wasn't getting open.
what's that?
He wasn't getting open.
Well,
They was
on a
fighting.
couple occasions he did, but for the most part, he was double teamed, and he was still catching balls in tight coverage
Yeah, he
there.
was covered. He
So,
was just catching balls in coverage. Yeah, he was
so,
more so catching balls in coverage.
so when you perform like that in the clutch situation and you take the lead in the final minutes of the game, I get that Aaron Donald had to seal the game. The defense had to seal the game for the Rams, but they had to take the lead to secure that dub. So for me, that's where Cooper Cup is my Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I agree. What's your I guess your overall take on the game? Looking back at it.
Looking back at it, there's a couple things. So the last drive for Cincinnati, I was wondering where Joe Mixon was at because,
In the
and
last drive?
the last drive because
Okay.
Samaj P Ryan
Because P Ryan was in. Got you,
was
got you,
in,
got you.
and he's your second or third running back. And in a game like this, it's a Super Bowl. You're down by what? They were down by 3 points, and you need to get in field goal range. You need to score to at least extend the game. I want my best players out there, and Samaje Perine. I know you're trying to get your burn and all, but this ain't the time. Joe Mixon for me has got to be on that field. I don't know if that was a situation where he was trying to help with pass protection or not. I don't know who's the better pass blocker out of the two running backs, but to me, you had to find a way to get Joe Mixon onto the field there for that final drive, and not that on that fourth down, not that Joe Mixon was gonna catch that football because that was sort of it was a disruptive throw. Joe Burrow was trying to make something happen. P. Ryan just wasn't in position to catch that football, and I don't think Joe Mixon would have been able to be in that position either. But I'm just of the mindset that I want my best players on the field in crunch time when I need points or when I need to extend the game. So that was one of my
Oh,
things. Go ahead.
okay. No, no, I didn't know you would. I was more so trying to get a view on. So your overall view of the game is where was Joe Mixon in the fourth quarter?
That and the 7 sacks that the Bengals offensive line gave up. which is something that, week to week during these playoffs, we've been, talking about with this football team, that being really their main weakness on offense. I mean, when you look at running backs, receivers, the quarterback,
Really,
the
their only
offensive line,
weakness in offense.
what's that?
Said really their only weakness in offense.
That's their weakness. Yeah. So we kind of knew going up against Donald and Floyd and Von Miller that they were going to have a day if they couldn't protect Joe Burrow. And here we are, down by 3 points, and the offensive line just couldn't, they just couldn't hold on. I will admit though, Burrow should have been able to throw quick there on that fourth down, but he held it a little too long. They were saying how, and we didn't see it in the shot live, right? But someone was saying how Jalen Ramsey tripped
Fair.
while trying to follow Jamar Chase down the field, and Jamar Chase was wide open, streaking for the end zone, and had Joe Burrow noticed that maybe a second earlier, or been able to get that extra second to step aside, evade the rush a little bit, that might have been a score right there, and that could have been the game winner for the Bengals.
Yeah. Which goes to show you, look, man. I guess we got to get into. Well, let me make my point before I get into Jalen Ramsey. The point is that this team, this Cincinnati Bengal team, specifically the offense, and I hate that I got to sit here and give them credit right now, but this offense, even in the midst of their offensive line issues, which I'm sure, I mean, almost 100% sure they're going to address pretty much all draft.
Mm-hmm. They have to.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, this team was literally a bad Joe Burrow hold the ball, or what I'm saying, from winning the Super Bowl. It would seem. I mean, I don't want to make it that minimal, but had he Matthew Stafford in the meaning Matthew Stafford in the Tampa Bay game where he could just kind of threw it up.
Yes.
Had he just thrown up a prayer like to his best guy. Mm-hmm. He might be the Super Bowl champion right now. Mm-hmm. Much like how Matthew Stafford got out of that Tampa Bay game early in the season. He just kind of threw up a prayer and threw it up to his guy and hoped for the best. Yeah. That could have possibly happened. On the back of Jalen Ramsey, who he's still the best cornerback in the game to me. That doesn't change for me. He had some things that didn't go his way, and like you talked about, he can be thrown on. But I mean, if we're being honest, any cornerback can be thrown on in this type of the way this game is played now.
Well, let me rephrase that. I don't mean to cut you, but let me rephrase that. He can get burnt. And that's what I was trying to allude to on Sunday, was that he's great, and he's one of the best in the league. But you can burn him. You can burn him from time to time.
But I think any cornerback in today's game can be burnt that way. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is it? Do you feel like he's not the best cornerback in the league? And I'm just asking for the sake of conversation.
No. I alluded to it that he's still one of the best in the game, if not the best.
I'm asking. Game. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm about to say. I'm asking if he's the best in your opinion.
But he's had some moments where you're like, this dude gets a little bit aggressive sometimes, and that's what you do. If you're the best in the game, that's what you do. You stay aggressive. You don't let players get by you and all that stuff. But he had some moments, and you're right. He did get robbed with the face mask. What was that? T. Higgins touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got
no. I thought that was Jamar Chase.
No. That was T. Higgins where he got the face
when
mask
he threw him down. Oh, okay.
That one. The one where we thought the rest was going to
right off the kickoff. Yeah, right off the kickoff.
Yeah. So that wasn't fair to him, but there were a couple of other moments in this game where he gave up some stuff. But he did not have a good Super Bowl. He did not.
He didn't have a good Super Bowl at all, and that You know,
He got the ring though.
I'm
He
not
got
going.
the ring.
He got that is definitely what he definitely got the ring. But I'm not going to look. You have that kind of game in the Super Bowl. You got to acknowledge it. That's
Hmm.
what happened to you. I'm not going to sit here and dare him. You know, I can't do that. But at the same time, that was a bad break.
Yep.
That burn was a bad break, and and that's just what it is. But you still got to be held accountable for falling or whatever. Even if it wasn't your fault, that
Yeah.
is still against you,
Hmm.
and you kind of got to hold it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Exactly.
So he had a bad. So he had a bad game. He had a bad game, but that doesn't change anything about who he is as a cornerback in this league. So,
No, not at all.
and like you said, he got the ring. Your opinion on Joe Burrow's game?
I thought he had a good game. No turnovers. And here's the thing that I've kind of noticed, right? So I kind of want to put this Jamar Chase versus the offensive lineman in the draft thing. I want to put that to bed because I and I know you're like, yeah, get the receiver. I know my cousin, was like, yeah, you get the receiver. I'll be honest with you, bro. There was some folks on social media that kind of was siding with me in a sense that, hey, you take the offensive lineman. But here's what I want to
No,
put
no,
to
no, no,
bed.
no, no. Okay, but hold on. But let me
Sure.
clarify
Hmm.
when I say no. I'm not saying in every situation you get the you get the receiver over the offensive lineman. I'm
Right.
saying specifically in the Cincinnati Bengals case, you get Jamar Chase over whoever that
The
lineman is. I
chemistry
forgot his name.
between Burrow and Jamar going back to their days in college.
The
I understand that.
morale, not just chemistry. One, he was the best receiver in that class this past year. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, but before we even knew what he was going to be this year, chemistry, yes, but two, morale. Three, uh, letting the quarterback that's going to be your franchise quarterback know, hey, look, man, your input into what you want on your team that you're going to be the quarterback of for the next 10, 12, 15 years
Hmm.
is important to us. And we want you to know that early. We want your morale to be high now so you can lead our team to Super Bowls.
Hmm. Which
And
is not something you associate with the Cincinnati Bengals on the regular, but I get you.
but that's not a Cincinnati Bengal thing either. That's a team thing. When you get a quarterback that you believe is going to be your franchise quarterback, it would
Hmm.
be in your best interest
Sure.
to because nobody's going to everybody believes that when it happened, when the draft this past year happened,
Yep.
everybody believes that Joe Burrow went to his management and said, "Hey man, get my boy.
Hmm.
I need my boy to be
And that
here with
doesn't
me."
happen in every organization with their quarterbacks too.
Every quarterback, but I do believe every single quarterback that was in that situation
Hmm.
goes to their GM and says, "Hey, I want my receiver that I had in college." I won't be convinced otherwise that doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, I do believe that happens. I also believe that because you have egos in the front office and owners want to, flex their power within the organization, that some quarterbacks don't get that opportunity. But I feel what you're saying, though. But the morale point is a good point to make. For me, it's still the chemistry that he had with the guy in college. So it's not for me. It wasn't that I didn't think Jamar Chase was any good because I always thought he was a good receiver. For me, it was what did the Bengals need at that point in time? What did they want? For me, they needed offensive line help. Um, did they want Jamar Chase? Yeah, they wanted Jamar Chase, and I don't I don't fault them for that. If that's what they wanted over what they needed. Um, so that's where I'm gonna kind of put it to bed because they did go to the Super Bowl.
Whoa,
I'm not gonna back off the opinion that they still needed offensive linemen from the past draft. I'm
well,
not gonna back off that point. but they proved everybody wrong. They drafted a receiver when most people said, "Hey, you got a stud offensive lineman here. You know, your quarterback hurt his ACL. I think you want to protect the guy." They went the other way, and they proved mostly everybody wrong. They went to the Super Bowl, and they could have won it, like you said earlier. But for me, I'm still gonna be of the opinion that they needed offensive line help, but they got the guy that they wanted, and
Okay,
not so much the guy that they needed at the time.
so you trying to put this conversation to bed, but so let me gain clarity before I allow you to do that.
Yep.
Because if I think I understand what you're saying, this conversation is never going to get put to bed, and every time I think about it, I'm gonna
Why you
bring it up.
say that?
So I'm going. It depends on how you answer this question.
Go ahead.
Do you think the Cincinnati Bengals made a mistake in drafting Jamar Chase in the first round over that offensive lineman from Oregon?
No, it's not a mistake.
Okay.
It's
All
not a
right.
mistake.
Then you can put it to bed then.
Yeah,
Got you.
not a mistake.
Okay, well then you can put it then you can put it to bed.
They
That's all I was trying to get you to say is Jamar Chase should have been drafted right then, right there. And to add and the basis for my argument still was okay, they didn't get the guy from Oregon, but they also did draft three other offensive linemen that they had
Yes,
intent
they did.
on, being in the rotation. So not only did they get a top five wide receiver, um, they also did attempt to
They
address
attempted to
offensive
address a
linemen.
need. They attempted to address a need. It didn't work out because one of the guys got hurt, and the other guy just whether he's just not as good or whether it
Or maybe just need time to develop.
just maybe
But
just need right. Maybe just need time to develop.
I will push back, and I won't make this a longer argument because I know we're talking about Super Bowl. I will push back on this. Um, if you don't have a dynamic player on your team,
Mm-hmm.
even if you need an offensive lineman,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still taking the best available dynamic player over the offensive lineman every time, every day in the paint.
Well, that's your
You
opinion.
can find also you can find offensive linemen. I get that it didn't work in this situation,
Sure,
but you can find offensive linemen,
sure.
and you can find them. Yeah,
Yeah, you can find them in later rounds. I get it 100%. You
and
can
Penny Sewell. I just remember Penny Sewell, right? That was his name.
Penny Sewell, yes.
He's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee you insert Penny Sewell, and then all of a sudden this offensive line is good, and Joe Burrow has all the time in the world. And let's say it does.
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins is a great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Do we believe he's a number one?
No, I'm glad
You
you
know what I'm
brought that up.
saying?
I'm glad you brought that
And
up.
then we and then we and then we kind of and then so for me,
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase kind of puts everybody in position. It puts Tyler Boyd in the slot where he should be. It puts
Yes.
T Higgins in that secondary spot. It like they are when they get this offensive line. If they can get this offensive line together, the league,
Mm-hmm.
let alone the AFC, is in trouble. We in trouble.
So, um, man, I lost my train of thought. So, and I'm glad you
T
brought that up.
Higgins.
T
T
Higgins,
Higgins.
right? T Higgins. I agree with you that T Higgins is more of a possession receiver than he is a guy that can fly down the field, even though he does show a little bit of speed in that regard. I agree that Jamar Chase brings a totally different dynamic to an offense that can put other players in their better positions. Tyler Boyd, like you said, he's better in the slot. T. Higgins, better as a number two guy. I get that. I get that 100%. Here's the flip side for me, and just for folks that don't understand. So my devil's advocate to that is, let's say, and you're right, there's no guarantee if you draft this offensive lineman that there's still going to be any good. There's no guarantee, but what if? What if him, along with the two other guys that they got later in the rounds, What if those three guys generate some camaraderie? What if that line does gel? Because sometimes it's not just about the individual talent, whether it's left tackle, guard, or whatever. Sometimes it's about how a unit can fit together in
I think it's
chemistry.
most of the times about that. I think it's
So,
most of the times about that.
about what?
Chemistry in the offensive line.
Chemistry.
I think that's what it's about. I think that's what it's about.
Right. So to my point, if those three guys on the offensive line generate that chemistry, if Joe Burrow is who we think he is, and most people think that Joe Burrow is, let's say that offensive line, instead of giving up 50 something sacks, let's say they give up 20, 25 sacks. You don't think Joe Burrow could make T. Higgins better? You don't think Joe Burrow could make Tyler Boyd better? You don't think Joe Mixon could still be a top five running back? He can make some of these guys better? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Better, yes. Better, yes. To the level that Jamar Chase is right now, no.
No, I
And
agree
like
with
I
that.
said, and then like I said, let's be clear, and I've been saying it since we've been having this maybe 3 week month long conversation. Um, Jamar Chase is a number one receiver talent. Like he's one of those, like he's already looking like a top 10 receiver in his rookie year.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just they don't make it to the Super Bowl without Jamar Chase. Offensive line could have been crazy. They could have he like to your point, if to your example, let me say,
Hmm.
if they had got sacked only 25 times and he had more time to throw the ball, they'd still be a good team. I'm with you, but they would not be a Super Bowl team. They just wouldn't be a Super Bowl team. I
It's
don't think
not
they beat the
likely.
Chiefs.
I agree with you. It's
I don't
not
think they're a Super
likely.
Bowl team. I don't think. I mean, I get. I mean, we're obviously playing a speculative game,
Yeah.
but I don't think this team is a Super Bowl team. I don't think they beat the Chiefs without Jamar Chase. I don't think that they beat. I'm not sure that they beat the Titans without Jamar Chase.
Well, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole with the Titans, because you know my feelings on that game. That the Titans, if they don't throw interceptions, the Titans win that football game. That's just me. But
Yeah, sure.
um, go ahead.
No, no, I'm agreeing with you. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. For
But
me,
getting, I guess getting back to the Super Bowl. I don't. Yeah,
yep.
like I said, I'm just going to stop the rabbit hole. So getting back to Joe Burrow.
Hmm.
Obviously, we both feel that he is
Yeah,
he that dude. I
he
mean,
had a good game.
I
Yep.
guess well, I guess I want to speak to the future. Where does this put? What do you think this puts Joe Burrow in? For next year, what is he kind of a loose ranking of where he's at in the NFL ranking right now?
Yeah. I hate
How
to
do you
say
think
it.
this team? How do you think this team rebounds?
I hate to say it, but he the best quarterback in the North. I hate to say it.
Hmm.
And Lamar is number two, easily number
Yeah,
two right
yeah.
there.
And then I mean, yeah. I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah, so yeah, that's scary. That's a scary proposition for the rest of the North, because obviously the Ravens got issues on defense. I know we'll get Marcus Peters back. I know we'll get some Marlon Humphrey back. We're gonna get a new scheme. Hopefully, we get some real pass rushers, and not just guys that fit the scheme. So it's gonna be tough. The Bengals are most likely going to be the favorite to win the North again
North
this
again.
coming
Hmm.
year, unless
Yeah.
something changes. And usually with this division, um, you don't stay on top for long. And I'm just talking about being a division winner. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
a wild card or the sixth
Yeah.
seed or anything like that. I'm just talking about winners of the AFC North. You don't stay up there for long. I mean, at the longest, you're talking 2 year. You're talking a 2 year run for all these
Hmm.
teams at this point. So yeah, they could do it again. and that's scary. Like you said, especially if they get the right offensive lineman in the draft this coming year, this time, look out.
Let me get straight to it. Do you think that the is it over? How does Patrick Mahomes got to count his days? Let me just get
No,
straight to it. Do he
no,
got to count his days? No,
no,
he's
no.
still going to be the best in the AFC. He's still going to be the best in the league.
I think he's still going to be the best in the league, but I
He
think
beat him. He beat him in a. He beat Mahomes in a. In the regular season, and that doesn't have as much stock, and I'm there. But he certainly did it again in the AFC Championship,
yeah,
where one quarterback outperformed the other.
yeah.
No matter how you slice it. No concern. No concern that Patrick Mahomes is still the
No,
best.
nope, no
Okay.
concern
Okay.
whatsoever.
Fair.
I will bring this up though. There's this rumor going around that Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy had a spat during that halftime
That
of
game.
that game against Cincinnati. Um,
Yep.
I don't buy into it all as much. I do think that there was some kind of maybe disagreement because of how that half ended for Kansas City and not getting points when it should have took the 3 points. I
The
do
field
think
goal.
that there was
Right.
something there, but in terms
Right.
of a spat to the point where you can't play in the second half when you can't score, I don't know if I'm buying that.
Okay, well, to add to that story, and I don't know if the meeting has happened or ended or we got answers, but I remember that Monday morning reading that Andy Reid pulled Eric Bieniemy to have some type of a meeting discussing his future uh, discussing his future. It didn't say whether positive or negative. It just said that there was a discussion had about Eric Bieniemy's future. Now
Interesting.
we obviously know that he needs to be getting a job.
Facts.
I don't. So concerned isn't the word. I would say keep your eyes on news in Eric Bieniemy's future. I mean, one person suggested that it could be, him telling Bieniemy, hey man, I'm about to just give you the Chiefs because it's bullshit that you ain't getting a job. I'm gonna go ahead
Yep.
and get up out of here. I got my rings. I'm good. Um, some say that Andy Reid might want to go in another direction and get somebody, different for the offense because of that second half collapse in the AFC Championship. So just something to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was interesting that came out, because we all know he's trying to get a job and he deserves a head coaching job. And I don't
Facts.
want this to hurt his chances of getting a head coaching
But
gig. But
realistically, it does.
yeah, I agree with that. It does. Even without this rumor, it does
Yeah,
because of the performance in the second half.
yeah,
That I do agree
yeah.
with.
Okay, so I'll transition to the other quarterback real quick.
Yep.
Um, Matthew Stafford Hall of Fame conversations have started immediately.
Yes, sir.
Me and you talked about it and with your peoples, and I think we all agreed that Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer. Richard Sherman came out, I believe, yesterday
Yeah.
and said that Matthew Stafford isn't a Hall of Famer, and he's only getting in because the standards of the Hall of Fame have been lowered. To that, you say what?
So I do agree with Richard Sherman in the sense that he's saying that because we're in a passing league, that Stafford should not stand out in the ranks of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, those type of transcendent quarterbacks. I don't think Matthew Stafford is a transcendent quarterback per se, but given the situation in Detroit, most of that stuff was garbage numbers that he put up. He's only made the playoffs 3 times with them. Never advanced in those years when he did make the playoffs. Did have a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Calvin Johnson. but I do agree with Richard in the sense that it's watered down because of the number of quarterbacks in the league that can now throw for 60,000 yards throughout a 12, 13 year career. I mean, look at Matt Ryan.
Okay.
I mean, at some point, that conversation, when he hangs it up, is going to be a conversation about whether Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer or not. So,
But is he a Hall of Famer in your mind, Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan? No, he's
No,
not.
right?
No, he's not.
No, right?
No.
If he wins a Super Bowl, does that narrative change?
I think the narrative changes if he gets the
right.
ring. Because he also was a league MVP also. That kind of helps his case as well.
Okay, so allow me to read some of the quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And let me, because I know we don't. Let me read the I guess the more mentionable ones.
Yep.
And even more recent ones to our history, because we can't speak to Sonny Jurgensen. Me and you, I mean.
No.
Warren Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Bradshaw. Let's take him out of the conversation. Joe Montana. We've seen Joe Montana.
We've seen.
Yep. Troy Aikman, obviously Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Jim Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Warner.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one I want to mention is Phil Simms.
Phil Simms is in the Hall of Fame?
According to this, Phil Simms is in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yes. According to this, now you got me wanting to make sure that's the case. Let me click on this to make sure I'm right. Okay, no, he's not. Okay.
That's
I just googled Hall of Fame quarterbacks and his name came up, but a list of names came up.
Okay.
So but yeah, now that you made me question it, no, he's not. So take him out. So let's deal. Let's deal in Jim Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's deal in Kurt Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's deal in Troy Aikman, who's an obvious Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Let's deal in Warren Moon, who is a obvious Hall of Famer.
Yep.
One of Richard Sherman's comments was he didn't do anything to revolutionize the game.
Which I agree with.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've watched Jim Kelly play. Do you feel like he's done anything to revolutionize the game?
Jim Kelly, no, he did not do anything to revolutionize the game. If I could just expand on that a little bit.
Sure. I'm just making a conversation. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just having a dialogue.
I think the 4 Super Bowl appearances in a row, by the way, which has never been done in the league's history, despite not winning any of them, I believe is what got Jim Kelly in.
Okay. I think we agree with Kurt Warner being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He did emphatically the way they went. I mean, if I had to put if I had to sum up Kurt Warner's career, I think that the NFL is the NFL today, meaning all the passing is that way because of Kurt Warner.
The greatest
because
show
of the
on
greatest
turf.
show on turf. I think that is the reason why the NFL is the way it is with all the passing right now.
Back in 2000, that was in 99. That offense then was considered to be like record breaking. They were doing some record breaking things back then.
They were throwing the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And Kurt Warner was making it happen. Was making it happen. So I get Troy Aikman though.
Yep.
And let's be clear. Deserves Hall of Fame, all great quarterback, all those things. If Matthew Stafford played for the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s, he kind of, I guess what I'm saying is that while I agree with Richard Sherman, if you can say that about Richard Sherman, you can say that about some of these other quarterbacks. Like these guys haven't done, and obviously we got to kind of to make the conversation. You kind of got to put accolades off for a second to make the conversation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Troy Aikman doesn't have the arm talent that Matthew Stafford has, and I get, but also Troy Aikman was on a team that was stacked.
Yep.
For majority of his career.
And I was going to say, nor has Troy Aikman revolutionized the game of football.
So, I mean, if Richard Sherman's and I get it, pass happy league, all those things, Matthew Stafford is like 11 in passing yards.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He's in the top. He's in the lower tens of most of the major passing stats.
Yep.
He's like 10, 11, 12 and like all of those stats. So I get it. But he only had one receiver.
Yep.
I mean, Troy Aikman had Alvin Harper, Jay Novacek, Michael Irvin, obviously. Like he had
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith, right. He had that offensive line more than anything, that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
The defense was good. Like, he had all the, it was like, I don't want to sound disrespectful to a Hall of Famer that's won, 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah. The numbers are mediocre.
I won't call him a game. I'm trying not to call him a game manager, but out my mouth, I want to say Troy Aikman's an overglorified game manager.
You know what he is? You know what Troy Aikman is? Troy Aikman is basically Joe Flacco, right? Like, so if you look at Joe Flacco's numbers right now, as of today, he has better numbers than Troy Aikman. If Joe Flacco played from 1988 to 1998, they would probably put Joe Flacco in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, with the Super Bowls,
with the Super Bowls, exactly. With the Super Bowls, right? So that's the comparison that I would make to Troy Aikman.
I think let me ask you this: do you feel like Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer right now? You still feel that way?
I feel that way. Yeah, I feel that way.
Okay,
yeah.
I feel that way too. I think the ring solidified it. Yep. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. If the second conversation came up, Eli Manning came up.
Yep.
We know who's a better throwing quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I don't even take the quotations out. I forgot I even did quotations. We know who's the better throwing quarterback.
Yes.
We know that Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Eli Manning at just throwing the ball.
Yes.
If Eli Manning plays for the Detroit Lions, I don't think we don't have a conversation about him being a Hall of Famer. No. I think, hell, I would go as far as to say that Eli Manning may not have been a Hall of Fame quarterback had he went to the Chargers, who drafted him.
That's a fact. That's the thing right there, because it's just something about playing in the biggest market for the number one football team, because the Giants is the number one football team in New York, next to the Jets. There's something about the streak. The consecutive game streak, because he threatened Brett Favre there for a little bit in that record. And there's something about upsetting one of the greatest, if not the greatest, regular season teams of all time in that 16-0 Patriot team.
I say that to say, and I get it. 2 Super Bowls to 1 is a big difference. I think any quarterback that wins 2 Super Bowls, regardless if you were trash or not, if you win 2 Super Bowls and you were the starting quarterback, I feel like you should be in the Hall of Fame. That's just my rule of thumb.
Okay.
But with that being said, if Eli can get in, Matthew Stafford can get in. That's just how I feel about it.
I agree with that. Eli Manning led the league in interceptions 3 times. He was never an All-Pro. I think he made maybe a couple of Pro Bowls in his career. He was never the best quarterback in the league throughout any of those years that he played. He was never
That's
considered
Richard
that.
Sherman's conversation, and that's Richard. That Richard Sherman said that about Matthew Stafford. He was never the best quarterback.
Yep.
I don't think he has any Pro Bowls. Matthew Stafford does.
I think one, maybe a late one, maybe like somebody dropped out and
maybe,
then they just selected him and he
yeah,
just didn't play in it.
yeah. I don't, yeah, maybe, but I don't think he has any Pro Bowls. That's
Right,
what I don't know to be
right.
factual. I don't believe he has any Pro Bowls.
Hmm.
I'm just all I'm saying to if Eli Manning can be in, then damn it,
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford can be in, and that's just my personal opinion.
and I'll say this too about Eli Manning. There's something about having that last name. I think
Yeah.
also if he's not a Manning, we might not be having this conversation too.
Yeah, maybe,
You
maybe.
know,
I mean, look. I'm never gonna shit on two Super Bowls. You got two Super Bowls,
yeah,
and with why I don't think he was dominant in either of those games.
he wasn't.
The helmet catch was thrown.
Yep,
That prayer to Manningham was thrown.
yep,
So I mean, you do get credit for throwing it, even though it was a
yep,
prayer.
yep.
But I'm sorry, man.
Them
I feel
defenses
like
were them
I feel
Super
like
Bowls to me though. Them
them
defenses,
defenses. Yeah,
they won
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. I
You know,
agree. I agree.
I remember the conversation during Super Bowl week that year with the 16-0 Patriots was that the Giants they could hold that offense to 14 points or something like that, and they ended up holding them to 17. I think no, they ended up holding them to 14 points or something like that.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
was and when the Patriots was dropping 50 pieces on everybody in the league
Everybody
that
that
year.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
that was all defense, bruh. That was Justin
Yeah.
Tuck, Strahan, and them boys. Your OC Umanura. That was
Yeah.
all those guys,
Yeah.
man.
That was that front line, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
No doubt
Yeah.
about it.
So yeah, Matthew Stafford is definitely a Hall of Famer in my book. In my book.
Yeah,
Right
I'm
now.
I'm with you there.
Now maybe not a first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe not a first ballot. I could live with that,
Yep,
but he's
yep.
definitely a Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah.
there. He's
Yeah.
there, and he's got a chance to get some more. Would you agree?
I mean, they were in position. I mean, I think obviously free agency for a Super Bowl team, a lot of times that changes.
Mm-hmm.
People leave, people
Yeah.
get bigger contracts, those types of things. But for all intents and purposes, they like you said, they look in position
Mm-hmm.
to do the same thing.
And this other rumor about Aaron Donald calling it quits if he had won the Super Bowl. Now I don't know if he's really thinking about it or if that's a real possibility.
Now that would change. That would change
That
that
would
team
change everything.
drastically.
There was another rumor that Sean McVay would step down, which is crazy. I'm like, you're 36 years old.
Yeah.
What the hell you stepping down for?
Right.
I don't know. I don't buy that. But if any of those two things happen, then their chances kind of, go down a bit. Even in a conference where you're kind of questioning: is Aaron Rodgers going to be in Green Bay? Is Russ going to?
I
be
think
in
it goes down
Seattle?
significantly
You
without
know.
Aaron Donald. I think it goes down significantly without Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a disruptive force, no question
He
about it.
yeah. I think it goes down without Aaron Rodgers. I mean
And
Aaron
Von
Donald.
Miller's a free agent too, so he's not guaranteed
Right.
to be on the team. Odell Beckham is a free agent. He's not
Is a free
guaranteed
agent.
to be on
He's
the team
looking to
as
take
well.
a he did say that he would take a pay cut for the Rams, and I think that that injury
I think
sucks.
it's solidified. It sucks, but I think it does solidify that he's going to be with the Rams this coming
With the
year.
Rams. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know
I
that
agree.
he's like the. Would you tag Odell Beckham if you're the Rams?
How much did they? Do you know how much they paid for him for this year?
I
$3 million.
don't.
So it wasn't. I know. Because here's the thing. I think you have to give him some type of a raise. I think the franchise tag would give him the type of raise that the appropriate type of raise. I do
Yeah.
think that maybe you do. Maybe I mean I think that would get him out the way.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing: we don't believe he's going to be there in August. I mean, in September.
Right.
In fact, what we talking about? Maybe at best October, November type.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Type of
like
shit.
halfway through the season is what I'm thinking.
Right, kind of like when he came in anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a Ram. Franchising him might not be a bad idea. Only thing I wouldn't like about franchising him is because I know he's not going to play for at least a month and a half.
That's true. And you're paying him what, 15, 16 million dollars just to play half a
Right,
season.
on a half a season. Right,
Yeah.
right. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
At all. I don't like that at all. Any other
So,
points in the Super Bowl, man?
how many other points? Talking points?
I said, do you have any more? Do you have any other more talking points?
I don't have any more talking points for the Super Bowl, but I do want to give a quick shout out to a fan favorite of the podcast, and she goes by the name of Mocha Bella, who also is part of X Squad affiliates, and we were with that crew for a long time. Still talk with some people over there every now and then. But we had our first ever Super Bowl sweepstakes, Super Bowl giveaway for some Barbershop Sports Talk podcast merch. We gave away a keychain, we gave away a T-shirt, and we gave away a hat. Mocha Bella won the
Congrats,
giveaway.
Mocha Bella.
Yep.
A1 day one.
Congratulations. That was shipped yesterday, by the way. So, Mocha, if you're listening, it's on its way. And we definitely would love for you to, make social media posts with the gear on and, sport it out for us. And that was good. I thought it was a good turnout. We had 5 people participate in the sweepstakes. I know a couple of people picked the Bengals and 3 people picked the Rams to win, but she was the closest one to the score. So,
Yeah.
so that was perfect. That I'm actually thinking about doing another giveaway this coming weekend because it's NBA All Star Weekend, and the All Star game is on Sunday. So I might do something for the All Star game there. I'm trying to.
Is this Sunday coming up?
It is the Sunday coming up. Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's the Super Bowl being a week later in the month that's kind of throwing things off because usually that's
Yeah.
2 weeks before the All Star game. Now
Right,
it's a week apart.
right. With that extra week of football, right?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe,
So,
maybe.
so yeah, I'm brainstorming. So I'm trying to figure out what to do for that. So because that's gonna be. I'm not gonna watch the All Star game to be honest with you. I might be doing some work or something, but
Damn.
I'm gonna think of something.
Well, all right. Did you hear the news about Marquise Brown? The rumors about Marquise Brown.
Yo, I saw this. Something about him retiring from the NFL. Is that right?
That's the rumor. That's the rumor that I saw on Twitter today.
And the reason is what again?
He wants to become a Twitch gamer. He's already built up a following, and he feels like he has enough followers to sustain a living
Hmm.
doing Twitch as opposed to playing football.
Interesting. Interesting.
To
Well,
that, how do you react?
um, I don't like it. I don't like that he has to retire. Like
Well, it's not even founded yet.
I know.
It's just
I
Twitter
know.
talk.
I know. But if it were true, I wouldn't like it. Because this is 3 years he's been in the league, and I thought he improved last year. And I thought he's got room to do a little bit more things this coming season. But if the man think he can make some money off of gaming for Twitch, and maybe that becomes an empire of his one day, then more power to you. I mean, he's made some money in this league. He certainly hasn't gotten that second contract because that's where you're gonna really
Yeah.
make your really make your money. But if that's what he decides, if this is true, then more power to him. It's Rashad
Man,
Bateman time.
yeah, you kind of gotta really do you really do gotta respect. No matter how you feel about him and how he's performed as a Raven in 3 years, you gotta respect people who figured it out a way to leverage their money into something
Hmm.
without getting their fucking head knocked off for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Look, I know we all love football and that's what's up. But if Obama could, possibly not get hit in the head as much,
Yep.
and still, live life and be rich or be all right. You kind of got to applaud it at this stage of the game. Football to be all right. We're still gonna watch regardless. We'll be fine
And
if he
players are
plays
gonna
or
come
doesn't.
and go. That's just how it
Right,
goes.
right. That's just how it goes.
There's
So
names
if
on the
that's
back.
true,
hmm
congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, players wear their names on the back, but we root for the names in the front of the jerseys. So players are gonna come
Yeah,
and go.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you want to get into this blockbuster trade that went down last week?
Oh man, I didn't realize. I guess I didn't realize we didn't talk about it.
No, no, it happened after the
You
last
sure?
episode for certain. Yeah, it definitely happened after the last episode.
Then when do we? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, sure.
It
let's
did.
let's talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's.
Let's
Hey.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ben Simmons for James Harden, Brooklyn and Philly. The Nets get back with Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. They didn't get
Two
drafted.
first rounders.
Two first rounders.
Yes, they
That's
did.
right.
They
That's
got
right.
two
That's
first
right.
rounders.
That's right. That's right. And the Sixers, they only got James Harden. Is that correct?
They got James Harden and Paul Millsap. I
Paul
believe it
Millsap.
was.
That's right. Paul Millsap. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
So I think
Go ahead and tell. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense how Philly won in this.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you and I, we had this Twitter conversation about this. So here's where I'm at. So when I say Philly won the trade, I'm saying that Philly won the trade right now, right this season, because I know next season when Durant's healthy, when hopefully Kyrie can play road games and home games, and Ben Simmons gets acclimated, we know that the Nets are going to be a force next season. This season, I I don't know. For the Nets, I don't know. We don't know when New York is going to lift this thing where Kyrie can't play home games. We don't know. Kevin Durant is still out. And possibly, 2 weeks they're supposed to evaluate him and see, if he can come back. And if he does come back, you're talking 20 games left in the season to try to get a higher seed, because right now they're the number 8 seed right now. And
Right.
you got some good teams that's 1 through 7 that don't look like they were moving from their spots no time soon. I'd be hard pressed to think that KD comes back, Ben Simmons gets acclimated, and even if you got Kyrie just playing road games, that they're gonna make a run to the NBA Finals. I just don't see that this year. On the Sixers side, this is it, right? Like, Joel Embiid is having this MVP season right now, and they get James Harden. I mean, I've heard people say, well, they got rid of a guy that wasn't playing for them for someone that's going to play for them, which I totally understand that concept. This is the Sixers' year. If they don't win it this year, then I don't see them winning it the following year or any time after that. So that's why I say for now, up until the end of this regular season, Philly won this trade because they got players that are going to play for them right now. They don't have what Brooklyn's got going on right now. Like, they're not waiting on a player to come back. They're not waiting for someone to get acclimated. And I know James Harden does have to get acclimated with his teammates, but I think that connection, that chemistry, I think that picks up a little bit quicker than the Nets in their situation. So for me, there's that. That's why I think Philly won the trade, but they won the trade for now.
I still disagree with you, even for now. If we're going under your guys that this is their year, they have to do it this year. then this isn't a good move. They're not going to do it this year. They don't have no shooters. It's James Harden, and he's a
Danny Green still there.
They don't have no shooters. I don't know. And if you're counting Danny Green, they don't have no shooters.
Danny Green not a shooter?
That's not to say.
If you want to say he's not the same, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But Danny Green, that's all he does. Yeah. He shoots.
No. Okay, let me. When I say he don't have shooters, I mean efficient shooters. Danny Green is not an efficient shooter anymore. I'm not talking about people who just that's all they do is shoot the ball. Clearly. They're not. They don't have no shooters. They gave away arguably their best shooter in Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So now it lands on Joel Embiid and James Harden.
Yep.
James, look, I like Tyrone Maxey. I like Thibault. I like those guys. They're great defenders.
And don't forget Tobias Harris is still there.
Look,
really?
He's not trash.
Wait, really?
He's not trash.
He's not trash. Like, come on.
He's not trash. But who is again?
Speechless for that?
Yeah, because Tobias, bruh, come on, Brian, come on, man. Here's. I'm proud. I'm happy for this.
As a third guy,
I don't believe Tobias Harris, man. I don't believe him.
As a third guy,
I don't believe him.
As a third guy,
I don't believe him. I do not.
As a third option.
Is this thing on? I do not believe Tobias Harris. I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
But you're saying you don't believe him in the moment. I'm just talking about, does he work well as a third option?
I'm answering your question. I don't believe him. You asked me a question, and
but you don't believe
as
him
the third
when the
guy
moment comes. That's what you're saying.
No. You're telling me what I think. I'm telling you, I don't believe him as a third option, a viable third option. I don't believe him.
Nah, I disagree with that.
I don't believe him.
I disagree.
In the playoffs, I don't. And then let's say against Miami, you believe him against Miami?
Right now, I don't.
And we're talking about because the conversation is
right now.
Because the conversation is right. Because the conversation is emphatically right now. We said right now.
Yeah,
they're the winners because they have to make it. It's championship or bust. But yet,
they're equipped to make a run. They're equipped more than Brooklyn to make this run right now.
But they're not more equipped than Miami.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Miami. We're talking about between these two teams.
No. But
I get why you're bringing Miami into the picture. You're saying, do I believe in them against Miami?
No. We're talking about your stance that it's better for the Sixers are winning right now. This was the better trade for the Sixers right now.
Yes.
Because this James Harden trade made this team a team capable of making the championship because this is a championship or bust team.
Right.
They're not making a championship with this roster. So this move, they gave away a shooter. Mm-hmm. And not only did they gave away their like I said, yeah. I'm convinced that's their best shooter. Steph Curry was their best shooter on that team.
That I agree
so they
with.
gave
that I agree.
They
with.
gave up their best shooter on a team that don't really have a whole bunch of shooters to begin with.
Yeah.
They got, like I said, they got guys that can hit a shot. Tobias Harris can hit a shot. Yeah. Like you said, Danny Green can hit a shot, but they're not shooters. They're not guys like if Harden got to kick it out because he get impressed and he got to kick it out.
Yeah.
You can kick out to Tobias Harris when the game is, you know what I'm saying? Like, Steph Curry is the one of them dudes that you believe will knock that bitch down when it got to be knocked down. I ain't talking about necessarily buzzer beaters, but momentum shots. You got more faith in a Steph Curry being that main guy than a Tobias Harris being that main guy, or Danny Green being that main guy. Danny Green now, not Danny Green of career, but Danny Green of now. So with that being said, They don't got smoke. If I'm being honest, they're not a better right now. As constructed, they're not a better team than Miami. They're not a better team than Milwaukee.
That I agree with.
So hold on, I'm just forgetting teams. I just got finished. They're not a better team than them. They're not a better team than Chicago.
Boston's on the rise. Boston's on the rise.
But I give Philly the slight edge over Boston. I give them the slight edge over Cleveland. I give it to him over Toronto, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But and why are you bullshitting? I don't 100% believe that the Sixers could beat the Nets in a series right now.
With what the Nets have on the floor right now.
No, I meaning assuming that Kevin Durant is
Okay.
going to be healthy for playoffs.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure that they beat the Nets.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
In fact, let me just stop bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nets still beat them in a series. The Nets, if have healthy Kevin Durant in the playoff series, beat the Sixers right now.
If everything pulled right for the Nets toward the end of the season into the playoffs, they lift the ban. KD comes back 100%.
No,
Ben
no, 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 no,
Simmons.
no, 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 no. If they don't lift the ban,
Uh-huh.
if he got to play, if Kyrie can only play in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
and Kevin Durant is healthy, I'm still taking the Nets.
Hey, we'll see about it. But one thing's for certain, you mentioned a couple of teams there. Milwaukee and Miami is going to have a lot to say about this trade because everybody's, oh, this might be the matchup in the conference finals, or oh, this might be it to go to the finals and stuff. No, 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 not so fast. Those two teams in particular, the Heat and the Bucks, they're going to have a lot to say about, whether those two teams get there or not. Because let me tell
I
you,
think they gave up too much, bro. They gave up too much, bro. And I
okay,
know I know they really wanted to get Ben Simmons out, and I get it. And
yeah,
I'm glad they got him out.
they didn't want to get rid
They
of.
overpaid.
They didn't want to ship Thibault and Maxey over there with them.
You're right,
And
and respect that they got that done.
yep,
But then they gave up. I tell you what, Tybalt and Maxey better become the scorers along with the defenders
mm-hmm.
in these next 2 years that they just gave up first
Right.
rounders
I was
for.
gonna say because they're two of the good defenders in the league. Their
Yeah,
scoring, I don't no. The scoring, no, not right now. I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say with the East? Oh yeah,
you were talking about the other teams in the league,
the other
in the
teams.
East. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. The Bucks quietly picked up Serge Ibaka. That's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge for Milwaukee, bruh.
I mean, I don't put as much stock into Serge Ibaka. It is a good move. I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't put
Mm-hmm.
as much as you put into it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a good move. I think it's a good wing defender. I mean, what he's not going to give you 18 points anymore. So so it's not that.
No.
It's good leadership. It's those types of things. I think it's a good move. I don't think it's as big as a move as you're making it, but he's going to be a good defender.
Yep.
Those types of things. But that move still does kind of solidify for me why the Sixers just don't have a shot. And look, I'm not saying that this is a bad move. James Harden to the Sixers is a good move.
Yeah.
I'm just saying right now, or really period, is no way that the Sixers got the best out of this deal because of how much they gave up to get him.
Sure. And it's like Stephen
It's
A
a
was
lot.
saying. It's like Stephen A was saying on TV. You basically improved your team while making the team that you're trading with much better.
Better.
I understand his point in that.
Yeah. I look. I'll say this, and I'll kind of regurgitate one of your sayings. If they make this, if they win the championship, I'll shut up.
Sixers, that is, right?
Yeah, the Sixers. If they win the championship, I'll shut up.
Hey.
But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
Again,
They're not.
the Heat gonna have something to say about it. Milwaukee's gonna have something to say about it.
I don't care what you're talking about. Brooklyn is going to have something to say about it when Kevin Durant come back.
I don't see a Nets Sixers Eastern Conference Finals.
No,
That I don't see.
but I don't see. I don't. I'm not. I don't necessarily see a Sixers conference finals. It's interesting that.
I disagree. I could see them there. I could see them there, but I don't think it'll be against the Nets.
Yeah, I don't know that I see the Sixers being there. And I don't have a prediction for you. I'm just saying
Yeah.
this team doesn't make me feel like this. They're four seed right now. Like I
The
said, I don't
Sixers,
think
yeah.
they're better than Milwaukee. Yeah, I don't think they're better than Milwaukee right now. I don't think they're better than Chicago. I don't think they're better than Miami. I think Brooklyn, healthy Kevin Durant, will get past them.
Yeah. And Chicago. Yeah.
And here's the yeah, I said Chicago first, but
Yep.
and again, I hate to be this negative Ned. James Harden don't show up in the playoffs.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, speaking of James Harden, just a simple question. Why do you think he wanted to leave Brooklyn?
Uh, well, Joe Button jokes that the strip clubs are trash. um, um, I don't have an answer for you. If I had to make a, if I had, I do. I'm lying. I do have an answer. He's not the guy. He's used to being the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He handles the ball. He takes it up. He does what he wants to do when he
Mm-hmm.
wants to do it in Houston, and that's not the case anymore. He's not going to be the reason why they win the. He's not going to
Yeah.
be the main reason why. Let
The
me
main
say
reason, right?
that they. He wouldn't have been the main reason why they won. He had to take a backseat to Kevin Durant, and in some respects had to take a backseat to Kyrie Irving, even
Mm-hmm.
though Kyrie Irving wasn't playing.
Right.
But like he's not the man no more. He can't just walk up and do what he want to do when he want to do it no more. And I think that does affect him because he was handling the ball in Houston all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's my thing. I'm gonna make 2 points. So there was a rumor that, and it's funny how these things come out after the fact, but there's a rumor that when James Harden got to Brooklyn in the trade, the first few, games, weeks or whatever, that Kevin Durant felt like James Harden wasn't a good fit within the offense. Because, the Nets, they like to move the
Hmm.
ball, ball movement
Hmm.
and all that good stuff. And James Harden, you
That's a
add him
reasonable
to the
thought.
mix, the ball sticks more than
Yeah,
it does move
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Even though James Harden gets teammates involved, he still gets his assists, he still gets his rebounds and all
But
that
not
stuff.
it's
The
not the
ball
same
stick,
thing. It goes exclusively through him.
sure, the ball stuck more than it did without him being there. So
Yeah.
I kind of get that point about it. I guess my issue with that in response to it is y'all traded to get the guy. And I know he wanted to get out of Houston, but y'all as the Brooklyn Nets, y'all wanted to get him because y'all thought that he was the final piece of the puzzle to getting a title.
Well, but I don't know. But the thing is did Kevin Durant think that, or did the office think that? And that's there goes that
That's the
whole thing.
question. That's the question. And most people keep
Because Kevin
labeling
Durant
this.
ain't LeBron,
Well, when it comes to what? Building
meaning he's
teams.
not a general. Meaning he's not a general manager like LeBron is
Right.
wherever he goes.
Right.
So in the situations, I'm sure they ask Kevin Durant's input.
Yep.
I'm sure he gets he gets to say, oh, I
Yep.
think this because of this.
Right.
But if the Nets guy, Sean Marks is
Yes.
Sean Marks, right?
Yep.
Um, if he probably says, all right, I heard what you said, but we want James Harden. We want to build this
Yeah.
big three, especially where everybody else got just the big twos right now.
Yeah.
We want that extra guy, and we get all of y'all to kind of play along for a year
Yeah.
or 2 years. And we're talking about 2 championships in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of synonymous. I mean, I get it's a logical thought from KD because he just came from Golden State where the ball moves.
Yeah.
The ball moves.
Right.
So of course KD might feel that way. I don't know if the rumor is true or false, but it's logical for him to think that way if he did because it's like, yeah, dog, I just won and for real, probably should have three-peated pending injury.
Yeah.
Probably should have three-peated. But moving the ball, we move the ball. And we get to the best available shooter, and that's where I shine because I'm always the best available guy. I'm always open.
Yep.
I'm always getting high quality shots. So I know the ball's going to come to me because I'm 6'10" and
Yeah,
I'm one of the
unguardable.
best shooters in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So I know it's always going to come to me. Whereas James Harden isn't quite as tall, doesn't always take the best efficient shots.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? His whole thing is I'm creating offense by getting fouled and
I was gonna say, getting to the
obviously
line. Yeah.
he created the step back jumper for all I care.
Yeah.
So that type of thing. So, but you would want that in Brooklyn, but you have to acknowledge that that only really works when you got shooters around James Harden that are willing to just shoot whenever he get it to you, and the ball's gonna be in his hands. So
Yeah.
what you're innately asking, in my opinion, how I would have did it if I'm now I'm couch coaching. Um, James Harden would have never played when Kevin Durant was in the game. He would always be that 6 man option to run the second team offense, and
Like it was in OKC.
he can do all the Houston Rockets shit he want to do when Kevin Durant sit down. But when Kevin Durant get up, you need to sit down, and we going right back to the ball movement that Kevin Durant like to do. Now, and that's me couch coaching. I don't even know how you could how implementable, if that's a word, that is to
Yeah.
just shift philosophies, through a substitution.
Right.
But that's what I would do if I were in that situation. I would never have him because I know either one of the two stars would get frustrated, and then there's still another star who likes to handle the ball and is the best ball handler on the team.
Yeah.
So then there's a whole other dynamic.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy because I don't even think they've played the three of those guys, Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. I don't think those guys have played together in more than 16, 17 games. You know what I mean? Durant was hurt. Kyrie missed games because of injury. This thing with the mandate and all that. Harden missed some games when he got there last year as well. And you never really got to. I mean, when you see them three on the floor together, you've seen what they could do, but you never really seen that over the course of even a quarter of the season, almost. Like if you combine all those games together, that equals up to about a quarter of the season, and you never really got.
You never really saw them you never really saw them have adversity.
Yeah,
and that's what's key. You never saw them have real adversity where it's like, oh, I don't like what you did on this play, and I don't like what you did on this play. So how do we fix it?
Yeah,
and so we can click on all cylinders. And then it never put Steve Nash in that position where he got to coach it.
Right.
So, and especially with Steve Nash, who is known to be a guy who's going to hold the ball. He holds the ball.
Mm-hmm. But he's going to get that ball movement going too. He's not just going to hog it. He's just going to make that decision.
But he is a guy that handles the ball. There was no other ball on that Phoenix team. He was the primary ball handler.
Yeah.
So you can do it. You could do a, it's not a, and correct me if I'm wrong, but how I remember that Phoenix offense, it was never, and I believe that way because I watched it in Houston. It's never a like a 4-pass. Like if Nash passed it off, there was never 3 more passes where he did before he didn't get the ball right back. You get what I'm saying? Whereas in Golden State, 4 different people could touch the ball before it got back to the point guard.
Right.
That
and
happened.
Golden State got another ball handler too. That's the other difference there.
Well, I say that to say is that they don't run the kind of offense philosophically where Steph Curry has to have the ball in his hands for rotations to move right.
Right.
Whereas in that Phoenix, D'Antoni, he wants a guy who dishes.
Yeah.
And it, you know what I'm saying? He don't want more than 3 passes before it gets back to the point guard and you resetting.
And what's crazy, the Steve Kerr thing, Steve Kerr was in the front office in Phoenix during that run, right? Toward the end of that Phoenix run with Amari and Nash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I'm just saying that I guess to kind of put a button on the conversation, I'm just saying that James Harden want the ball.
Interesting.
Kyrie Irving wants the ball. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant, he's just the guy who needs to finish the plays more than that. But those two need the ball. So when both of them are in, that could present issues.
Right. Yeah. I just threw that question out there because I do have a slight theory that does James Harden know something that we don't in regards to Kevin Durant's injury? And because I'm thinking, why don't you just hold the fort down until he gets back? I know y'all lost 11 straight games, and maybe that was kind of maybe the straw for James Harden was that he couldn't
But wasn't he
carry
playing in
this.
those 11 games?
What's that?
But wasn't he playing in those 11
And
games?
that's what I'm saying. He was playing in those 11 games. I'm sure Kyrie was playing half of those games. But for me, it's like y'all in the East. I know the East is better, but I think if you got him back at the timetable that y'all said with 20 games left, that y'all can make up some ground. I didn't think that they were completely out of it, but
Well, let me be very clear.
what's up?
I'm sorry, Brooklyn doesn't. So even while, everybody's been out and Harden has been the guy, kind of the main
Mm-hmm.
guy, it's not like they were running the type of offense he's used to in Houston,
Right.
in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could see frustration there. I could see frustration. He's not getting it the way he's used to getting it
Hmm.
in Brooklyn.
And they changed the rule, which is why he's not getting to the free throw line as much as he used to.
Right, right, right,
That's another piece
right.
to it. And he's still going to have to deal with that in Philly also. It's not like that's
Man,
going to change.
that don't look good. I mean, I'm sure he'll still average 23, 23 to 20, maybe 25,
Yeah.
but all those 28 to 30s, I don't know if with that rule change, like you said, I don't know if that's going in his favor no more.
Hmm. What about this theory that I was about to talk to you about during the Super Bowl Sunday? But this thing that Stephen A said on TV the other night that the Lakers should consider trading Anthony Davis.
Oh yeah.
What about that?
I mean, look, man, the way I see it, you made this bed, lay in it. That's what
They got a championship out of it.
yeah. Well, yeah, maybe, yeah. I
They
mean
did what the
that's a
Rams
good
did
point.
basically. They mortgaged the young cats for some
Yeah,
vets plus Anthony Davis. They got a championship in the bubble, and now they're
yeah,
they're paying for it.
yeah. I mean, well, when you put it to me like that, then yeah, maybe they should trade him. Maybe
Hmm.
they should trade him and see what they get. Now, I don't know what kind of revolutionary talent they think they're gonna get for him.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, but first rounder, yeah. I mean, how many first rounders you think you can give Anthony Davis?
Yeah. Oh, I think you can get at least one. You can get at least one. I don't know about multiple,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you can get at least
Mm-hmm.
one. I guess my thinking is that you're on a team full of Hall of Famers that are way past their prime, like Melo, Dwight, LeBron. Even though LeBron is still great
Yeah.
at his age,
And
they
congrats to LeBron James.
passing Kareem, right?
Past Kareem all time points, including the playoffs. Congrats! I'm glad you said that because I do not want to forget congratulating LeBron on that.
Salute.
Congratulations to LeBron James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
respect. Yeah, you got all these old guys, man, and the way I look at it is, if you're gonna tear the team down, um, you got to keep the youngest of that group. Anthony Davis is the youngest of that group of names I just laid out there.
Yeah, but you're not getting a whole bunch of stock for nobody else.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
you're not getting no stock for nobody else but Anthony Davis or LeBron James, and clearly LeBron ain't going nowhere.
Right. I've heard some jokes out there that LeBron would force himself to get traded back to Cleveland. I don't think that's happening,
Um,
but
no, I think if anything, he's going to make sure that he plays with his son before he leaves, and
yeah.
that'll be it. I also saw something today or maybe yesterday where he feels like now that the Rams won the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
they should have the parade. When they have the parade, they should also acknowledge the Dodgers and the Lakers. And
Yeah.
no, no, bruh. Sorry,
Let let
I
let the
get it.
Rams let the Rams have their moment.
Let the Rams have their moment, and y'all are losing right now. We don't want to. I don't think Lakers
Yeah.
fans want to see y'all doing no parade right now.
And baseball is in some deep trouble, even though it's not the Dodgers' fault. But no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Just
The
let the
Dodgers
Rams
had
have their moment, bro.
the Dodgers had their moment. I get they couldn't celebrate
Yeah,
the way they wanted to. The
yeah.
Lakers had their moment. I get they couldn't celebrate the way they wanted
So
to.
sad, so
But
sad.
no.
Yeah.
Let them have. Look, the Buccaneers had their moment. Ain't nobody saying let the Buccaneers and the Lightning, have a joint parade.
Right.
The Lightning had
Yeah.
their moment, so let it just be what it be.
Let it be what it be.
Sorry. I'm gonna make one more point here before we sign off, bruh. And I wish I could do this meme where earlier this season in basketball, both of our teams were like the top two teams in the East with like 5-1 records. I wish I could do this how it started versus how it's going right now. And
You could if you really focused on it.
both of our squads are 11th and 12th in the East right now. The season for the Knicks is over.
Yep, same here.
It's over.
Yep.
Blew
I don't even know why you felt the need to bring this up.
Blew a 20-point lead to the Blazers without C.J. McCollum and Lillard the other night. And then blew a lead last night against the Thunder. Can't beat those teams. It's a wrap, man.
Yeah, I don't know why you need to end the podcast on a low note.
Yeah, well. Need some positivity.
Hope that made you feel better.
Yeah,
I don't have nothing positive to
it made
say.
me feel better because I have less expectations now.
So you're saying that this is a positive thing?
It's a positive thing for me because they're going to make a change. I don't know if they're going to get rid of Tom Thibodeau at this point, who I think is just being stubborn right now with not playing these young cats and just being stuck on playing Evan Fournier, for God's sake. But, yeah, I'm comfortable knowing that we're not making the playoffs. We're not even going to make the play-in game. My only frustration is that they're not letting these young guys get on the court and get their minutes. That's my only thing. Like, Thibodeau is playing as if he thinks they got a chance to make the playoffs, and I get he's a coach. He's got to think some way about that, but realistically, we're not getting there. We're not getting there.
Well, hey man, thank you for ending this on a negative note.
So, hey, the draft's coming in April. That's the only.
I don't give a fuck.
That's the only thing I got. That's the only thing I got, man. Like,
I mean, let's be clear. We haven't drafted the greatest either. So, what you want me to say about that?
what? The Steelers?
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
I said the NFL draft is
April.
coming.
I ain't hear you say. I thought you said April. In April the draft is coming.
Yes.
And I get the NBA draft ain't in April, but
Yes.
I'm thinking NBA draft.
I was talking.
I mean. Hey,
I got
okay,
nothing,
that's
I got
what
to
you.
look forward to, bro. I got nothing.
I'm about to say, I was going to say, if that's the way that you're going to conflate that you're going to equal level off a negative note, sure, I guess that doesn't make me feel better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My bad. I'm reading the text here. Yeah, let's end this on a good note, man, and positive vibes. We still here. We got life. We doing this show. You know what I'm saying? Let's
Bro, that's your positive. Our
end
teams are really trash. Our teams are really trash. If the best thing you could come up with to end this show on is that we still got life in a sports podcast.
I got nothing, bro. I got nothing. And there might not even be a baseball season, so I got nothing until the NFL draft at this point. What? March Madness.
Hey,
March Madness.
I don't give a fuck about no March Madness. I don't give a fuck about March. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the NCAA.
I ain't saying you. I'm talking about me, nigga.
No. I'm saying I don't give a damn about March Madness for real. I'll watch it, but I'm not. I'm sorry, man. I know it's a lot of NCAA people love NCAA and our chats and our
They
conversations
do.
about our
They do.
podcast. I don't love it. It's just cool. It's just cool.
I'm gonna
It's
watch it.
just,
I'm gonna watch it.
of course, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it. But
I mean, ain't none of my teams in it. I mean, the Terps ain't doing all that great either. I'm sorry.
all
I don't
right,
get. I'm
all
sorry.
right. Let's
I'm
sign off.
sorry. I don't
Hey
get. I
man,
don't.
thank you for all the listeners, all the supporters of the podcast. Man, hey, we appreciate y'all, man. We everybody in the chat room. If you know, we appreciate you all of that. We see your comments. We just ain't responding to them because we are in our feelings about some things that we were discussing today. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Catch the podcast on replay at all podcast platforms. Hey, you can follow the Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. If you got any questions, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. I ain't done it in a long time. For Trey Frazier, this is Maestro Styles, and we will see y'all next week. I need to get to this verses.
Peace.